Okay, so there we go. We're on TV. Let's see if we can get Shanna in there. Awesome. So guys, today we're going to be discussing a strategy of combat, I guess, and more so of a sensible defense, and that is called avoiding the striking distance. So striking distance, what is oh, you didn't want to be in there, Shannon? Oh, that's all right. You can be on there and eat. That's what we do. So you know, this is Eat and Chat. So let's see here. All right, Shekinah's in the building. So what is striking distance? What is striking distance? Do you guys have any idea what striking distance could be referring to?
I never heard of it. Yeah.
Never heard of it. Okay.
What is the context?
So if I tell you that you have to avoid the striking distance of your opponent.
Oh, you have to be like stand far back from that. You can't be too close.
Right. Right. The Webster's Dictionary for striking distance is a distance from which something can be easily reached or attained. And so just for two different, how can I say this? Just for two different examples, we're going to look at snakes first. Snakes have a striking distance, right? Think about it. You see a rattlesnake or maybe a king cobra, they have the ability to launch out at you and bite you. And the distance from them being able to launch and bite you is called their striking distance. And so I'm going to share with you guys some simple facts that I think you might enjoy. I know I did. I typed into Google, what is the striking distance of a king cobra? It says, if you see a king cobra, the world's deadliest snake, get away as fast as possible. These huge venomous snakes can strike up to 6 feet and will often bite multiple times in one strike. It says the adults of these species are known to bite and hold on to its prey in order to inject their deadly venom. So then that led me to believe, okay, it led me to think, well, if they can strike a distance of 6 feet, how fast is that? So I typed in, what is the striking speed of a typical snake? And this says that all snakes can accelerate at more than 160 meters per second squared. I don't know what meters is. Google gave it to me in meters. I know 1 meter is like almost 3 feet. And it says, and they can reach speeds of 3 meters per second. This enables the animal to cover distances of 14 to 17 centimeters in like 60 seconds. I don't know what that is, but it sounds fast. So I thought to myself, okay, we have this information, right? We know this about snakes. You've heard the stories of snake bites, right? So typically our immediate reaction when we see a snake is to like, we know we don't want to get bit. You know not to get too close. It's simple, right? It's almost common sense. So another thing that came to mind when I was thinking of striking distance is boxing or fighting. And so I said to myself, okay, what is the average, or what's the average reach of a boxer, a typical boxer? So this says in a heavyweight class, boxers have an average reach of 76 inches. Anything above 77 inches could therefore be classed as a long reach. So 72 inches is what, 6 feet? So the average boxer can have a decent amount of reach of probably about 6.5 feet. That means if I'm standing from here to say that salt shaker and I'm a boxer, I can hit it. It's not, you would think, oh, okay, his arm isn't that long enough, but his striking distance will allow him to connect at that distance. So looks can be deceiving. He can actually hit you when you think he can't. So then my next logical train of thought is, okay, well, how fast is the average boxer's punch? I want to know how quickly he can hit me from 6 feet away. So this stat says that professional British boxer Ricky Hatton clocked a maximum speed punch at 32 miles an hour. But on average, professional level boxers can generate speed punches of about 25 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. That means that an average boxer can hit you fairly quickly at a decent amount of distance. So when it comes to boxers, for example, Floyd Mayweather, who is actually from Michigan, where I come from, he is known, he's one of the more successful boxers. I think he is still undefeated. And he finished his career, he retired undefeated. But Floyd Mayweather was known as the type of boxer who would strike you and then move so that he could avoid the strikes of other boxers. In fact, he was criticized as being a hit and run type boxer, but point being, it made him undefeated. He knew how to hit and back up to get out of the way. That's a great defense. You may, you know, in boxing, it may make good entertainment to see two guys just bashing it out, but it doesn't make much sense because you suffer all types of damage. Look at Muhammad Ali. At the end of his life, he started suffering with Parkinson's from continually getting hit upside the head all of his life. Whereas Floyd, you know, some people may. So some people may think, okay, you know, Floyd Mayweather is, you know, some people may not like his boxing style, but it works. It works. It works to be able to hit somebody and get out of the way before they hit you. Or in other words, to get out of the out of their striking distance. And the point is, you need to learn how to avoid strikes if you're going to be a successful fighter. If you get too close, thinking that you're faster than you are, then you end up catching, as the young people say, catching a fade. You end up getting beat down. And so striking distance is important to understanding your opponent. I want you guys to look at a video. I'm about to share this video with everybody. And, yeah, they can see me. Yeah, they can see me. But I'm going to play a video and I want you guys to catch this. Because when we talk about fighting, you know, we talk about boxing, MMA, whatever. There are obvious winners and obvious losers. In a one-on-one fight, there is a winner and there's going to be a loser. And the best thing about fights, I kid you not, for me, this is just for me, it is the post-fight interview. Yes, I'm going to spin it around here in just a second. So the post-fight interview, that is when the guy gets, you know, he either wins or he loses, and they put a microphone in his face. Oh, yeah. And they say, hey, how did the fight go? And that's when they tell you. And they'll say things like, oh, I guess I underestimated my opponent and he was too fast and I should have trained a little more and he was a little stronger than I thought. And you know, just all these excuses on why they lost, right? And after you see enough post-fight interviews, it ought to teach you something. And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at a post-fight interview of a man by the name of Conor McGregor, who lost. I want you to hear what he's going to say. I promise you, this is going to have a spiritual application. I promise you that. But listen to him. And I want you to think, I got beat up by the devil. I'm a Christian, and this is my excuse. Listen to this, if I can pull it up here.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Sorry. It's gonna be
Hey,
hard.
Leo, are you able to share the screen
All
on
right.
the Zoom?
So for those of you that are watching on Zoom, you guys will not be able, I won't be able to hear you because I'm using a remote mic, but I do want you guys to be able to catch this. And
Can you share the screen though, like through Zoom? Can you share the screen like so we can see it on our screen?
I can't maximize the screen.
You just hit share screen and then you hit whichever tab you want to share from Zoom. Like you share the video directly by sharing the screen on the Zoom call.
You say close it and go back in,
Hmm.
Okay, so now we're gonna go here. Here's my notes. There we go.
Thank you very much, guys, and Connor, thank you very much for doing this. Can you describe emotions after a loss like that?
Stings real bad, but this is fight business. I have many defeats in my life, and I've rose back, so I'll not shy away from it. I will not make excuses for it. I will assess it and come back.
I know
So he's saying that he's not going to make excuses for his loss. I can't put it on the Zoom. I'm sorry. It's the best we got. So he's basically saying, I'm not going to make excuses for my loss. You know, it's like, that's the way it is in fighting. You know, I'm just going to assess what went wrong, and then I'm going to come back.
it's still very fresh, but in hindsight, do you feel like you almost bit off more than you can chew here?
Do you feel like you bit up more you could chew?
His efficiency, he was very efficient. He took shots well, and he played.
So he says, and I have to keep pausing this to narrate because I don't want to get a strike on YouTube.
Okay.
But he's saying, did you underestimate your opponent? And he says that he did. He said that he took some really good strikes, right?
You underestimated him.
He underestimated his opponent. Think about this. This is a Christian versus the devil. Okay, this is a Christian that just got beat up by the devil. Think about it that way.
With his energy, well,
His energy.
I blew out.
He blew out.
He almost felt I hurt him many times in the fight. I abandoned the body shots. The body shots were doing damage, but he caught me 1 or 2 jabs to the body, and I avoided his body then after that. But he played well. He went into autopilot mode where I panicked a little bit. And
so he's saying that his opponent went into autopilot. Muscle memory kicked in. His opponent did what he knew to always do. And he said he actually panicked. So in the middle of the fight, he panicked when he realized that his techniques weren't working and that his opponent shifted gears. He panicked. He said his opponent outlasted him. He was winded. He was tired. This dude wasn't in the shape that he should have been in for this fight, which is one of many reasons why he lost. Let's keep listening.
this is it. You win or you learn. So
Does this result mean that you're done fighting at 170?
yeah, definitely not. No, I'll take any fights. When the history books are in, I show up.
All right, now he's being arrogant.
Many opportunities to walk from this fight. Even after Nate got brought in, you know. So I show up if there's one step. You know, I enjoyed the test.
He enjoyed the test.
A little bit more practice I could.
He needs more
I could
practice.
be aware. You know, if I was fighting a man my own weight, 155 or 145, they're going to be KO from next shots, you know.
So his thing is he's not gonna give up fighting. Okay, think of the Christian. He's not gonna give up fighting. He's gonna go back. He's gonna figure this thing out, and he's gonna try again.
I feel a little bit of an adjustment of knowing that the opponent will be able to take more of it. then I could continue to compete at that weight, no problem. If there's a fight there, ring me up, I'll answer the bell, no problem.
As you can imagine, all your foes are asking to fight you now.
Ooh.
In a perfect world, what would you like to do next?
You know,
So basically what he is saying here is the interviewer says, okay, after seeing you lose, now all of your opponents want to fight you. There's a spiritual application, you guys. When the devil beats you, they keep coming because you clearly demonstrated that you're not prepared and that you'd be an easy target. Let's keep listening.
I think I'll go down and take that. You know, I don't know. I've seen the Jose's thing. I mean, he can celebrate through another man's victory, but at the end of the day, when we faced, he wasn't conscious. So that's the sign of a true champion for me. You know, he's celebrating in my
Okay, he's talking about beating. All right. So that's that. All right. Let's put you guys back right there. So you can learn a lot from the post fight interviews. So this. Yep. Okay. All right, hang on, guys. We're just making some adjustments here. We're good. So for those of you guys that are just joining us, we're talking about avoiding the striking distance. We're talking about what striking distance is. And striking distance is actually the amount of space that it takes for someone to connect with you. We talked about a snake and its striking distance. Now we're talking about fighters and their striking distance. And I'm making a comparison based on these post-fight interviews. I'm making a comparison of what a Christian looks like if you were to interview him after losing to the devil, after falling to temptation, after taking an L in life. And you know, they usually say in the loss, they usually say things like, oh, I underestimated my opponent. I didn't realize he was that fast. I didn't realize he was that strong. I should have trained harder. And then the example we just watched, he was like, man, he got the best of me. He outlasted me. I got winded. I panicked when I saw my techniques weren't working. He took advantage of it. So that's what happens when a Christian takes that L. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to obviously go to the Bible, and I'm going to read you guys a pretty lengthy portion of scripture, as we always do. And we're going to look at 1 Corinthians chapter 10. I'm reading verse 1, and I'm going to read all the way down to verse 14 out of the ESV, the English Standard Version. And I want you guys to pay close attention to the language here. I'm going to read out of the ESV. I think it pretty much paints a pretty clear picture. So this is the Apostle Paul writing. He says, "For I do not want you to be unaware, brothers, that our fathers were all under the cloud and all passed through the sea, and were all baptized into Moses in the cloud and in the sea." What is it? Is somebody jumping in? Oh, for they drank from the spiritual rock that followed them, and the rock was Christ. And Paul's telling us some typologies or some what's the word? Some metaphors from the Old Testament to the New Testament, using terms like they were baptized when they went through the Red Sea, and the rock that they drank from was the rock that was Christ. And he says, nevertheless, most of them God was not pleased, for they were overthrown in the wilderness. Now these things took place as examples for us. This is important, you guys. He's explaining to us why we need to pay attention to history. He says these things took place as examples for us, that we might not desire evil as they did. Do not be idolaters at the same, or as some of them were. As it is written, it says, the people sat down to eat and drink and rose up to play. We must not indulge in sexual immorality as some of them did. And it says, and 23,000 of them fell, or in other words, died in a single day. That's 23,000 people died in one day. We must not put Christ to the test. We must not put Christ to the test, as some of them did and were destroyed by serpents. That's striking distance. You do not put a snake to the test, y'all. Don't go playing around. I know we see these videos on YouTube and Facebook where people are messing with animals for whatever reason. They think they can go mess with the tiger, mess with the gorilla, and they get caught up real quick. It's just a horrible. It says they were destroyed by serpents, nor grumble, as some of them did, and were destroyed by the destroyer. Now, these things happened to them as an example, but they were written down for our instruction, on whom the end of all ages has come. Therefore, this is key. Let anyone who thinks that he stands take heed lest he falls. No temptation has overtaken you that is not common to man, meaning there's really nothing new that's going to get you. Somebody has been through this before. Someone has failed, and someone has succeeded. And then it says, God is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond your ability. But with the temptation, he will also provide a way of escape that you may be able to endure it. Therefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry. So let's go back to snakes. In the United States alone, it says approximately 7,000 to 8,000 people suffer venomous snake bites each year. About 5 to 10 people die per year. At what point do we learn from somebody else's mistake? You would think it would only take
one time, but maybe twice, maybe 3 times. Somebody really hard.
And I get it, you don't know the snake is there some cases, but then there are those cases where you'll see signs that says, don't play over here, there's venomous snakes. Or if you know, for example, that the reporting is, oh, all of these 5 or 10 people died in this one particular area, then their mistake should point out to us, okay, maybe I don't need to be over there. At what point do we learn from other people's mistakes? The next question is, at what point do we do our own research and make wise decisions based on what we've learned? I mean, if you plan on taking a trip, you plan on dating a guy or a girl, if you plan on taking a job, if you plan on joining a church, if you plan on choosing your friends, going to college, whatever, you do your research. And based on your research, hopefully you do your due diligence enough to where you can make wise decisions. For example, Michigan, where I'm from, there are the 2 most popular schools in Michigan is Michigan University, the University of Michigan, excuse me, and then Michigan State University. You got U of M, you got MSU. MSU, good school, it's known for parties. It is absolutely known to be a party school. U of M is more known to be about business, about seriousness. They take education serious. I mean, which makes it very difficult to get in. Their reputation says, look, you don't bring that foolishness here. We're here to learn. And so U of M is known to be serious. MSU is known to be that party school. And so if you're looking between the 2 schools, you know this in advance. Okay, if I know I'm going to get caught up in a certain lifestyle, I need to avoid U of M, or excuse me, I need to avoid MSU because I need to take education serious. Or you may say, look, man, I'm going to school just for the parties. I'm just going to school to meet people, blah, 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 blah. So you may choose MSU. I'm just saying, my point is you need to do your research. You can't continue to get beat down. You can't continue to get bit. You cannot continue to fall into temptations and fall for the okey doke and expect God to feel sorry for you. expect people to feel sorry for you. At some point, you need to learn how to look into things first. Next question. At what point do we actually adopt and incorporate capable trainers and mentors into our lives that can actually train us and prepare us to win fights? If you're a boxer, if you're a fighter, the most important thing that you can have is a good trainer. Okay, you can exercise, you can, get yourself in physical shape, but that trainer helps you get into the right headspace. I want y'all to hear me on this. A trainer, a mentor, a teacher helps you to get your thoughts together, to get your mind together. If you don't do that, then your head will not be in the fight. And so what ends up happening is you get outsmarted. And so your trainer stands back. He pulls you back and he says, okay, look, I noticed he was doing this. You need to counter with this. We taught you how to do this. Make sure you move this way. Make sure you duck this way. I've been watching his weakness. His weakness is his left side. Hit on his left side. That's what a trainer does. A trainer gets your head back into the fight. What we see, how you doing, Shekinah? What we see and what we find is Christians lose fights because they have poor trainers. Either they have poor trainers or they have no training, they have no mentors at all. This is why I constantly tell people that if you don't have a personal mentor, at least be a part of a good church. Be a part of a church that loves you enough to tell you how to win fights, not just bringing you into the church and getting you into their small groups and making you, go to Taco Tuesday and all that garbage, but a trainer that is more concerned about winning fights rather than shining on social media. A good boxer will be absolutely successful if he has the right trainer. It's been said that the boxer Mike Tyson wouldn't be who he was today. Well, for his boxing career, that is, if he didn't have his trainer when he was a child. He was 13 or 14. He got hooked up with Cus D'Amato, and Tyson was a hood rat kid who was just brute strength. Cus D'Amato taught him how to think like a fighter, taught him how to outsmart his opponents. And when Cus D'Amato died, Mike Tyson went downhill because he didn't have that voice, that person in his head. And I bet it's very safe to say that a lot of Christians who may start out strong, who may have good mentors, good leaders and good teachers, but then eventually abandon those things, you can usually probably trace a Christian's downfall to the fact that they quit listening to their trainers. So, yeah.
Or like they didn't take heed to what was said.
Exactly. And that's also where the Bible comes in. The Bible is the playbook. It's the instruction book. And so when we don't read our Bibles, that's why I'm telling y'all, I'm a Bible teaching church. I'm a Bible teaching pastor. And one of the things that I try to convey to people is if you're not in your word, you'll never know what God is telling you. You will never hear the voice of your trainer. You'll get beat up. I got outsmarted. They hit me with some scriptures and they told me I couldn't eat shellfish and they told me I couldn't. See, you don't read your Bible. You don't listen to your trainer. You're out there taking jabs, getting hit in the body.
Or not studying. I
know.
Not studying to show or something to prove, just kind of reading it, but not studying it. So
Yes.
Putting, bits together. Making your homework every day. Yeah.
Yes. Study to show thyself approved. That's great. Shanna, that's Hebrews 4:12. If you don't do, or no, I'm sorry, it's not. It's 1 Timothy or 2 Timothy 3:16. Look up 1 Timothy 3:16.
Okay, let me see. 1 Timothy.
What I say, Hebrews 4:12. Come on, Leo.
Is that about faith? Okay, so
1 Timothy 3:16. I think that's what it is. 16.
16? Yeah, I think it sounds familiar. No, that's great. Is a miss.
No, look up 2 Timothy.
We're gonna get that. I'm gonna search it.
Let me see.
It's But for you, continue to.
All right, never mind. I done lost it. I done lost it.
Yeah, look at it.
I took a L. See, that's my point. So real quick. So when we talk about,
Oh, you were close.
what is it?
2 Timothy 2:15.
Oh.
It's like it's a teen in there.
All right, 2 Timothy 2:15. So guys, when we talk about trainers are absolutely important.
KJV version.
If you don't have a trainer, you will get pummeled. Period. You think you know boxing, but your trainer is always going to be that older, wiser person who probably had years of experience behind them, who's probably worked with many people and trained many people, and they're going to help you win. They're going to help you succeed. So we need to think about this stuff. Next one is, and this is my final point, is we need to learn from other people's mistakes and experiences. One of the things that I always wanted to do that I should have always made time to do, but this is a really good practice, is read autobiographies. Read biographies of people from history, because what it does is it gives you an idea of what their life's experiences were. And oftentimes it documents the good, bad, and the ugly. You know, I did this and I was successful. I did this and I failed. This is what I've learned. These are my takeaways. And like we read in 1 Corinthians 10, the entire Old Testament is given to us as a measure of learning. The Hebrews, they got beat down often. And it's because they made horrible decisions. And the decisions, like Paul said, there's no temptation that's common, you know, that we deal with that is unusual to us. That's not common, not common. These things have been going on for years. There's nothing new under the sun. And so you look real stupid if you fall for the same mistake that somebody else before you fell for. That goes back to the whole snake bite thing. If you know that there's a ton of snake bites taking place in this particular region of New Mexico, and you're gonna go camping, okay, don't be surprised if you get bit. My wife and I and our kids, we went to Hawaii a couple years ago now. Oh man, it's been too long. And we were at this beach, you know, and we got the kids and my son, he's got his little arm swimmies on, his little flotation device, and we're about to go hit the beach. And there's a sign that says, stay out of the water. Man of war jellyfish are in the water. A jellyfish will take you down. And so I see the sign. Now, as many people do, they ignore that stuff. And I'm walking on the beach and I see a jellyfish sitting right there. I took a picture of it. I'll show it to y'all later. But I show it to my little boy and I say, hey, look, this is dangerous. We don't touch these. And he got it. He's like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay. And so how would that have looked if I would have ignored the signs, ignored the physical sight of jellyfish, and went out because I wanted to be selfish and have fun for myself? It's all about me and what I want for right now. That instant gratification. If I ignore signs, if I ignore the reports, if I ignore other people, you know, because there was nobody on the beach, that should have told me something. There's no one here, and this is Hawaii. You know, it's like 80 degrees out. The beach should be packed, but then you look down the way, there's like 1 million people down there. You know, I could have been the idiot who said, oh, look, I found the one spot that no one's at. Let's go swimming. The thing is, folks, when we don't learn from other people's mistakes, when we refuse to do our research to make wise decisions, and when we refuse to enlist the assistance of trainers and mentors, what this shows is spiritual immaturity. It shows that you're immature. It shows that you're a big spoiled brat who just wants things your way. You refuse structure. You refuse to have anyone in your life that can speak to you and check you when you're not right. And that's a problem. That's a problem, because if you grow in God, it'll be because you paid attention to other people's mistakes. Like Paul told us in 1 Corinthians 10, it'll be because you did your own research and chose the best possible route and direction for your life. And it'll be because you've adopted trainers, mentors, good church, good pastor, Bible study group. You read your Bible. Spiritually immature people fall every time. It's like an inexperienced fighter who thinks that just because he beat up people in his neighborhood, he can step in the ring and fight professionals. You're gonna get you're gonna get your behind handed to you. One of the sports comparisons that comes to mind is basketball. You got a lot of kids who grow up in their neighborhoods and they're the best in their neighborhoods. And then when they get to college, they may be the best in their high schools in their little region, get a scholarship, they go to college, they're playing with kids who've been brought in from all over the country. And they realize they're not so good. You know, I want to share with you a scripture real quick. In Proverbs chapter 6, Proverbs 6, 27 and 28. And this is talking about committing adultery and falling into sexual temptation. Proverbs 6, 27, 28. But I want us to really catch the theme here. It says, can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? That's a sincere question. Oh, you trying to get back in?
Yeah, I just wanted to see everyone's comments, but I'm on mute, so I can't.
Okay. So can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? And then it says, can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? These are rhetorical questions that remind us that there are consequences to our actions. For every cause, there's going to be an effect. And when we talk about striking distance, getting back to our bringing this full circle. When we talk about striking distance, we're talking about you having the sense, having this maturity to stay out of striking distance. Don't get so close to where you get burned. Don't get so close. I know that we want what we want, we like what we like, and what in the church, what we do is we try to get as close to the edge as we can. That's why people always say this. You've heard this. Well, will that send me to hell? What? We're in a fight. If I do this, will he hit me back? What are you talking about? You're in a fight.
That's what goes to show you people's mindset. It's like instead of having a mindset like, what can I do to please God? Always think about, let me see how far I can go to the edge. Like a little child. Yeah. Let me see how far I can go and see. I don't think it's gonna send me home. You know what I mean? Like, why don't you focus on what's pleasing to God?
It makes me think about how some people will say, well, God loves me, you know, he's gonna forgive me if I do this sin, if I do this, and they keep doing it, and then they don't rectify that. Like, God doesn't want he's fair, he's honest, he's true, but sometimes he's gonna give you that whoopee.
That's right.
He's also just got a wrap.
Yeah.
Just
That's right.
He's just so like you think, oh, because he's gonna forgive you and all that. Wait till you get up there and you be like, I'm sorry, excuse me, you don't read my word, you need my word. I don't know you.
Right.
You didn't get to know me.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm trying to mute you, but I guess I'm gonna leave the meeting because it's echoing.
Oh.
I turned you down, but still won't let me completely mute you.
Oh, okay.
We can always look at the comments later. I don't know if there are
But
in the chat. Are there comments in the chat? Nope, no comments.
nobody's saying anything yet.
Yeah, but it's distracting. I keep looking at us and then looking at the video.
Oh, you seeing squirrels? Squirrel.
Yeah, I tried to mute your voice on my. I can only mute my voice. I couldn't even turn all the way down.
So we're talking about being smart in our walks with God. You have to be smart. If you think that you're stronger than you are, if you think that you're faster than you are, if you think, oh, I can get to the edge and I can play and I can dabble, you're going to take an L. You're going to get defeated. You're going to get it within striking distance and that snake is going to bite you. And like we just read, a snake will bite you and hold on to you until he's injected enough poison. Just like that boxer. Mike Tyson, who was a short guy, he's got a reach of 71 inches. That's crazy. And so you never, like we read in the Lost interview. He was like, I underestimated him. I didn't know he was as good as he was. And a lot of Christians, when they fall, they always underestimate the temptation. They always underestimate the bad decision. That's why a lot of us end up falling into heartbreak in relationships, is because we underestimate. We don't do enough research. We ignore our training. We ignore the bad decisions of other people who have made mistakes, and we suffer loss. And then if God were to put a microphone in your face, well, how did the fight go? Oh, well, they outlasted me. I don't know. I just underestimated them. I had the training. I didn't have the training. I need to go back and study the tape. And it gets crazy. So 1 Corinthians 10:12 reminds us, it says, therefore, let him who thinks he stands take heed lest he fall. Quit thinking you're stronger than you are. That's for you guys. Let me see, people. I got my people in here. We got to quit thinking we're stronger than we actually are. Because when you do that, you put too much confidence in yourself, and you don't put enough respect on the other person. You better respect your opponent, because the minute you think, oh, I got him, you're gonna get got. So I want us to look at one more interview, and except this time we're gonna look at a boxer who won, and I want you to hear his confidence. And again, I want us to think about the Christian who overcame temptation. I want you to think about the Christian who overcame his fight with the devil. So let me bring you guys in. All right, let's see. This is Floyd. All right.
I think once you put it in that mode,
There is a way to share the screen.
Yeah.
We'd have to log on to it.
Yeah, it's just too much hassle. Okay, so let's listen to how this guy, this Floyd, let's listen to his language. He's victorious. He's got the belt on his arms. Give me towel. All right. Okay.
On this victory, to hear the words "still undefeated."
Undefeated.
First off, I want to thank God for this victory.
Hold on a minute. Right there. So yeah, that is empty. We know that's empty. But if you know this man, does he really know God? Really, he knows him, but does he really know him?
I want to thank God. That's what they say.
Yeah, but so the Christian, so yeah, so the Christian who wins, usually thanks God. God, they have a walk with God. They have a relationship with God. And when you overcome the devil, when you overcome sin and temptation, you do thank God. That's the first thing you do. God, oh, thank you for getting me out of that one, Lord. Almost got me. So this is normal. Okay, let's keep going.
All the fans that came to Las Vegas, I want to thank all the fans around the world that supported this event.
Okay.
He's a hell of a fighter. And I'll take my hat off to Manny Pacquiao.
Okay, hang on. So he said he wanted to thank all of the fans, all the people that supported him. I want to thank my church family. I want to thank my brothers and sisters who prayed for me. Come on, I want y'all to understand this. When you win, it ain't just you winning. And so Bible says in what is it, Hebrews 12, that we're surrounded by a great cloud of witnesses. People that have gone before us, people that are cheering us on in the spirit. When we win, it's because we had the support. We had people praying for us. Some of us would not be here today if we didn't have our team of fans behind us. Let's keep going.
I see why he's one of the guys that's at the pinnacle in the sport of boxing.
Okay. So he's talking about the guy he beat. His name was Manny Pacquiao. He says, I understand why he's good. I understand why he's feared. I understand why
He's at the top.
he's at the top of the game.
Mhm.
You better,
Pretending to be humble, basically.
yeah. You know, that's Floyd. His ego is bigger than this room. But you got to understand that your opponent, your enemy, the devil, he ain't no slouch. He's been doing this for a long time. Yeah. He's been studying us. He's watching our tapes. But he acknowledged that. He's like, look, I get it. You know, I get it. This fight wasn't gonna be easy. I'm fighting a worthy opponent. Listen.
Was this easier than you had anticipated?
Was it easier than you anticipated?
I knew he was going to push. I knew he was going to win some rounds.
Okay.
He had moments in the fight, but I kept him on the outside. I was a smart fighter. I outboxed him.
Ooh.
I wasn't hitting.
Ooh. Okay. So he acknowledged, he's like, yeah, he knew this was going to be a real fight. But he said, I kept him on the outside. I stayed out of striking distance. I stayed out of the striking distance. He kept him on the outside. If you take away anything from this corny interview, it's that if you don't keep your enemy at a distance, you will catch a fade. Hold on.
Hit with a lot of shots.
He was hit with a lot of
Until I
shots.
sat right there in a pocket, that's when he would land a lot of shots. And we did what we had to do tonight. And I'm truly blessed. Many Pacquiao was blessed. And I want to thank all the fans that came out to support this event.
So he said if he would have stayed in the pocket, he would have taken a lot of shots. The pocket is striking distance. If he would have stayed in striking distance, that dude would have beat him down. And so he was able to keep his enemy at a distance. Let's keep looking.
I think you never figured out that left jab in your right hand. I can't really say. I'm just, a calculated fighter.
Calculated fighter.
He's a tough competitor.
He's a tough competitor.
But like I said before, I gotta take my hat off to my dad, because without my dad, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Stop.
And he was right.
Stop. Stop. Oh, come on, Father. Hey, I didn't know that was in there.
Everybody has to mention their parents. It's just
He said,
101.
I have to take my hat off to my dad, because if it wasn't for my dad in my corner, do you know the
Is that
Father?
his dad in the background? This dude right here.
No, that's just random. You gotta know
That's funny.
your father. Your father needs to be in your corner. If you don't have his voice in your corner, he says that because he's about to say that your dad was, he was riding you, he was pushing you. He's about to explain. And sometimes God does that. He gives us that urging and that priority to set, because he wants you to win. God is for you. He wants you to succeed. And the Bible says he won't put you in a position to fail. He's not going to put anything on you that you can't already overcome. So he's going to coach you through it. Let's listen.
Why was he riding you so hard? Because my dad wanted me to do more, but Manny Pacquiao's a tough competitor. He's a very, very awkward fighter, so I had to take my time and watch him extremely close. You said a couple of times to me and to others, you never wanted to win a fight so bad as you wanted to win this fight.
Come on,
Why?
somebody.
Because it was so long in coming? You say things sometimes, but all 48 fights, all 47 fights before I got to this point played a major key. But this one.
So there you have another good point. He's saying all of the fights that he has won up until this point prepared him for this win. Every single time you win, it builds you up. Think of David, King David, right? Defeated the giant. But what David was able to do is he was able to look back at other wins, when he defeated the bear, when he defeated the lion. And so what we ought to really be aware of is that when you win one, it might be a small fight, but it boosts your confidence. It gives you an adrenaline rush. And then when you win two, and when you win three, you literally feel, and obviously you got to have all the other things in place, but you literally feel like, I can do this. I can live this life. I can be a successful Christian. I don't have to keep taking L's in relationships. I don't have to keep taking L's, with finances, all of these things. L's.
What does that mean?
A loss. That's like
Oh,
slang
gotcha.
for you taking a loss.
I'm thinking like ills, ILL.
Yeah. So So, you know, I don't have to keep losing in life. You know, once you get one win, get you a trainer, get you some fans, get you some people around you. It'll start to become easier and easier and easier if you remain smart, if you stay smart. Let's hear what he's saying.
Particularly, why? Really not this one. All fights played a major key. You know, I wanted to win all fights extremely bad. Manny Pacquiao's a tough competitor. He's a true champion at heart, and we both was at our best tonight. Was this worth the wait? When the history books is written, it was worth the wait.
Now,
What's left for you?
I have to say, that's the same thing that the loser said. We watched the interview before with Conor McGregor. He said the same thing. When the history books are written, I will be in there. No, man, you're gonna be wrote down as a loser. People will remember you as a loser, just like the Hebrews were remembered as losers in 1 Corinthians chapter 10. You're gonna be remembered for something. Either you're going to win or you're going to lose. And so with that said, I think we'll call it a day right there. But oh yes. So yeah, that's all I got. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that while we're fighting, because life is a fight, there will not be a day where you will not have to fight. Every single day when you wake up, because you decided to call yourself a Christian, the devil is now making sure that he whips your butt. He's going to figure out a way. He's going to watch you. He's going to study you. He's going to check your patterns. He's going to watch your habits. He's going to see what your triggers are. And then he's going to hit you with those things. He's going to study you. And so what you must do is you must figure out a way to stay out of striking distance. Don't get so close to where you get beat up. Don't be that person that says, well, I don't think it takes all that to live for God. Don't be that person. Do the extra. Do the extra. Remember Adam and Eve. God said, don't eat of the apple. But somehow, or the fruit, thank you. But somehow the word got back to Eve, don't eat it or touch it. They went a little extra just in case. So if you need to put things in your life that will help you to avoid getting losses, do it, whatever it takes. If your right eye offends you, pluck it off. If your left hand offends you, cut it off. That's what Jesus said. Do whatever it takes. This is a fight for our life. This is a fight for eternity. This is a fight for our salvation. One loss could cost you your soul. Put on the whole armor of God. Start using some weapons. This ain't got to be a fair fight. Pull out a sword if the devil come at you. So listen, to our Zoomers, we're glad that you guys were here, and we appreciate y'all jumping in. Sorry that you could not interact with us, but you were able to listen and be a fly on the wall. So we hope that this blessed you. We'll put this on my YouTube channel, our church YouTube channel, the Remnant Park Church YouTube page. Make sure you go ahead and become a subscriber so that you can catch all of our videos as we upload them. And we appreciate you. We're all just going to hang out and chit chat and have ourselves a good time. Peace. Bye, Lena. See you later, Jalen. See you later, Ricky. Jalen's my boy. Good to see you, Jay. Ricky's, yeah, she just checked out. All right, cool.